Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I wanted to show a couple of things. I have some finished garments, works in progress, feature knitting and weaving projects, and a couple of other things. The first finished object that I'm showing is one that I finished today. It's a test knit by Melody Hoffman of Mandarins. It's the Through the Shadows sweater. I did make a couple modifications, but I kept to the instructions that needed to be reviewed for the test knit. I'll block it later today. So I made mine short sleeve and added length to the body. I feel like this will last a really long time because of the wool alpaca that I used. I describe it as my al dente yarn. It has such a strength and durability to it, and it's soft, but it has a dryness. So I feel like it'll be able to insulate me. It'll still being breathable. I really wanted to do this pattern because I love Mandarin's patterns, and I wanted to add a garment that had elegant color work and embroidery to it. So it is more, it has less color work, which I think can add its own elegant touch to my wardrobe. I did purchase a black high-waisted skirt because I don't have that color, or I don't have black the in or I don't I don't have a black skirt. So I still have to pick it up from the store. I also wanted to sew a skirt. That's one of the future projects one for using or for my sewing machine. So I'll show it after it's blocked too. The second finished object is a surprise for a number of reasons. So this is the OK sweater in the 42nd edition of the Lopi magazines. The books. I didn't weave in the ends, but out of all of the patterns in the Lopi magazine, I chose the sweater that doesn't have color work. So I didn't block it. Uh, or I did block it, I didn't weave in the ends. But I'm super psyched that I did this pattern because it uses large needles and was motivating about it is that the you made progress so quickly, or I made progress so quickly on it that I wanted to keep going. And this is one of the shortest knits that I've done. So this is using a superwash, a Baraka superwash in dungaree, and the other color that I use for the contrasting color for through the sweater, through the shadow sweater, is the Manx Lockton in like a taupey color because it is on an Etsy shop. And this really motivated me to want to knit this again because it went by so quickly, and I have said in many videos I don't have a lot of stamina when it comes to play knitting. It's one of the main reasons why I do color work, aside from me loving color work. So I'll definitely knit this pattern again, as well as other patterns in the Lopi books. I have another Lopi book too, which is more of it's an older one that has some seasonal knits for this time of the year. A work in progress that I have is another surprise because I don't really knit socks. I like larger projects, but I found the heritage yarn and I love the how soft it is, but it still feels durable. It's a self-striping with other patterning in there. I haven't worked on this a lot because I was finishing my test knit, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and maybe I'll do a pair of socks once a year. So I love the way that it's turning out. I am doing a pattern where it's ribbed at the top and it's going to be more of an ankle sock. So I'm excited to work on this more. And I also chose this pattern because I wanted to do another type of heel because the other heel method that I did for other socks is something that I wasn't really a fan of. So I am happy that I found this pattern because I, I'm enjoying so far how the process of making the heel. It feels less of something that I don't want to do. I'm actually enjoying the pattern, as I said. And also, it's interesting because I love rustic yarns and I enjoy knitting a lot of them. I also love some softer yarns that I'll mention in this video too. But I feel like I go for non-superwash a lot. And I've made a couple of socks, but there was just something where I didn't enjoy knitting it. So for a while, I wasn't knitting any socks because I don't know, it just I didn't feel like it. But when I felt this yarn at my local yarn store, I was just like, well, I would like some festive socks too, and this just feels so lovely. And I do have some sock yarn that's hand dyed, and of course, I love that too, but I also feel uh, in a way, I feel like I don't want to knit those yarns for socks because they're so mm, people have worked hard to make that, and it's a more of a higher end yarn that I don't really want to knit socks with them. So I feel like I have finally answered that question of, or one of the questions of, what makes me not want to knit socks. So another work in progress I've shown in a couple of videos, but since I was doing the test knit and I was also doing the OK sweater too for specific purposes, I wasn't knitting on my Sleipnir cardigan as much as I wanted to. I got a little done on the body, but I'm really wanting to knit more and more on this one. As I say that, and I decided, since I was working on multiple projects, and I was happy that Julia from of a Happy Knitting podcast said this, was that mm, and it was such like a the comment that she was saying that it's not coming to me, but it wasn't you only live once, but it was like, you know, why not? Or maybe it'll come to me in a little bit, but it's in this festive holiday bag that I got last year in an Etsy shop. It's one of my favorite ones, and I look forward to taking it out. It's in Patagonia yarn. And as I said, it comes down to the very end of a garment when I really decide what I'm going to knit next, because it's an important question for me to ask myself, since it takes a couple months for these garments to get knitted up. And I'm actually using Patagonia in anthracite, and then this one is ivory. I have a couple of shades of Patagonia. This is a non-superwash that I love working with. So this pattern is a pattern by Jenna Koskep, one of my favorite Finnish designers. I love her patterns. The Sleipnir is another one of her patterns. And I did the Birth of the World cardigan that I'm going to knit again. The book is the Knitted Kilvala. So this one is my favorite book because I want to knit all the patterns, and aside from the Lopi book that doesn't fit in the shelf where I keep the main books that I reference and knit from, um, it's there are a couple of books that I really love that I like to keep in that section. So let the horse carry thy heavy burdens. Mm, sorry. I love her patterns, and I'm excited to. Oh, well. This one I will say is a bottom up construction. I'm gonna work it top down, and I wanted to do that because these last couple of projects, although I love them, I love color work, and it was me pushing to get them finished because I was thinking that I wanted to knit all the color work after completing them, and so that's why I decided to cast on two more, and then it'll motivate me, I think, to work on the Sleipnir. I might change it up a little bit and work on one of the sleeves and then go back to the body. So another future knitting project, there's going to be a couple of different types of yarns and in this video, and a lot of the yarn is yarn that I got on sale, as I mentioned in many videos. When my friend was closing her yarn shop, I was able to get first pick on, or one of the people in the group to get first pick and get the discount for them. So for the longest time, I wanted to knit the ultra worsted cardigan again. There are a couple different modifications that I wanted to do for the second one. And for a while, I was thinking, what colors could I use? And although there were definitely ones that I will want to use for it, maybe if I make a third one or fourth one, I wanted to stick to the palette and the type of yarn because I love this yarn so much. I've knit it in many different projects, and I'll show some of the finished ones. It's the Cozy Alpaca, and I got this on sale it's definitely a nice jump start to the project. I think might need one or two more of these, or at least of midnight. So, what was stopping me was that I didn't want to spend a lot more on another Ultra Worsted because it's a lot of yardage, and the yarn that I used for the project I got on sale. So it was a big discount for the yarn. So I feel like I'll have a good amount of it, and I'll be able to make another one because I wanted this to be a special cardigan for when I move next year. And I think it's fitting because I'm moving to Scotland next year. And so it's blue and white, and I wanted something for the plane. And by the time I'm finished this, since it's going to take a little longer, I didn't take as long as I thought I was going to on the first Ocha Worsted, but just the color and the feeling of the the first one that I made, I I really wanted to have it be a wearable piece for me. So I am so excited about moving and finishing this garment. Mm, I moved some things around. So these are other projects that I use the Cozy Alpaca for. I also got these on sale too. Some of them were from my friend's shop, and then another shop had them on sale. I heard that this is a discontinued yarn, but there are some places that have some of them left, so I don't foresee it being something that'll be difficult to find because I recently checked that if I have to, I could take the yarn from the sleeves of the first one since I already steeped it. These two are my Christmas stockings that I knit last year. And it's such an experience because I love knitting these socks on a larger scale. I do like the heel on this one too. It was fun to knit up. And I just like larger projects in general. I think for one of them, the reasons being that I usually keep my nails long, and sometimes smaller projects can be finicky for me, and I'm not gonna cut my nails. Sometimes I get them a little shorter than other times, but for the most part, I like them like this. So this is one of them. I I will probably make another stocking. I love this yarn. And one of the patients, I know she is from out of state, and she likes a team. I'm I know the state that she's from, so I'm pretty sure I know the team if I'm thinking about the right sport So I'll I have the cozy alpaca in those colorways. This one is the other one. Is also so stunning. I was really happy with the way that these turned out. They're so soft, and just feeling these makes me so excited to knit up the cardigan again. And I love knitting this pattern too. It's a super fun knit for me. Okay. Then I did put aside the Cabernet colorway in this stocking for the next weaving project. I put a lot of the colors in my IKEA tote. So I put the warp colors in the bag too. But when I finish the warp, I'll. Sorry, there's a couple of things here. I have found the use for this bag that I've had for a while, and it's the Emma Ball Puffin bag. I do have a couple of her puffin bags, but this one I was wasn't really using it for anything, and then it just fits a lot of my weaving supplies. So I'll put the colors for the tartan scarf that I will weave in there. I'm almost finished the one that I have on the loom right now. Again, I was focusing on my test knit for the most part and the other garment. So some of the colors in here, I wanted to do a candy cane theme. And my main colors, I might add the Manx Lockton to it too, to you know, give it some other colors and dimension. And I was going to say, in a sense, like complexity. I really like using different warps to have more depth in the yarn, and the colors that I've chosen are, they have I wouldn't, in a way, rustic, but the word is more mm, not just like its own magic touch to it. So one of the colors I got at the Bluemont Fair this year, and I also saw the couple at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. So it's the Bridget's Farm Cart in the colorway Luna. When I saw this, I was just so drawn to the color. and the one of the vendors remembered who I was, and she asked if I used what I used the other yarn for, because I bought I bought alpaca yarn from them last year, and I love their yarn. It was super nice. I just keep the alpaca in my stash because I want to have it for a special project. So I'm happy that I'm using this one, which is wool, but it's their hand spun. It's their types of products that they sell. And that'll be one of the more one of the yarns that'll be on the higher ends because I try to watch the types of yarns that I put in my projects. I might use the Manx Lockton for this project too. And these are some Rumagarn. So I got these in a pack in on the Woolly Thistle website where they had groups of colors. And so they have this colorway. Then these are Rumagarn phenols, so it's more of a bouncy type of yarn, and I like to get them around the same for the yarn, but this is more of a heathered dark red that will be on the warp because I have the remaining of the Cabernet. I switched the one of the colors out because the other one was more of a bulky weight yarn. So this is for the warp, and then this is the cozy alpaca that I'll put on one of the shuttles. Then I have some universal yarn, other yarn that I enjoy working with. So these will be in as again some of them are warping yarns in here. So this is in porcelain and pine. I love the tweed in there. And another universal yarn in adobe This is also on sale. The Rumagarn is on sale. The Manx Lockton I've had in my stash for mm, over a year. And I might use a Barico for the warp for the to overlay or for the Manx Lockton to overlay because that one will go in a shuttle. So I wanted the green to be the dominant color because that will be the color I'll have um, a good amount of. And I feel like I'll put the beaches and booches, the petite lamb's wool, in dark blue green. So I'll love how much depth it has. And I love doing these weaving projects because I'm really trying to use as much stash as I can so there's less stuff to move. And then when I'm in Scotland, there's going to be so much yarn. And then I have plans for mm, some fiber plans that uh, I have for myself. And I'm so excited because these are projects that I'm really looking forward to, especially when I worked hard and I pushed through the other projects that I also enjoyed. Um, the color work is just the type of knitting that is my favorite aside from cables. And I was I did comment on one of Julia's videos about her colorwork sweaters, and I told her that I wanted to do another ultra worsted, and she was saying that she loved the doing the ultra worsted, so it makes me more motivated to do it. I'm trying to remember what she said. She was saying that life is too short, and I know that was just a quick thing to say, but it did mean a lot. And to an extent, I will cast on, but I enjoy seeing the finished product at a decent amount of time. So, whenever I feel comfortable with casting on and then also challenging, um, I guess making things, having things at a different pace sometimes. So, it, I'll probably catch up towards the end of December so we can see a, some progress on the things that I mentioned too. And I'll show my finished tartan scarf. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.